30th of December at 3:07 p.m. in Saaren, Germany. Welcome everyone to our cosmic journey, casting our chart in the startup universe. Designer Jake here, sitting in a car with engineer Trey, sitting in an apartment. Hello, Trey.
Hello, Jake.
We didn't introduce the soldier fox.
Yes, he's our first employee. He judges
He
all
played a,
things done by anybody.
he's like, not good enough, and I appreciate that. I like the exacting standards that General Fox gives to the company.
General Fox actually sounds like an actual general, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
General Fox. Yeah.
Yeah. We are in
Um,
love with this piece of art that is in the Airbnb that we're staying at in the middle of nowhere in Germany.
Now, did you throw me out of the room? Why am I in a car right now?
Yeah, you're like in a lot that's like down there. So
Here, I'm waving. You can't see me.
No, I can't quite see the lot from here anyway.
I'm not going to move my phone because I have the most precarious setup ever, sitting in a driver's seat with a safety jacket, propping up a phone in a steering wheel, good to go. I have my
Yeah,
laptop here with my notes on it. It's great. It's working
yeah.
out fantastic.
This unit that we were in a separate unit. This is like a large building. The one that the
You might
last
have noticed that
video.
from episode 14. If you wanted to go take a look at episode 14, where we were in the unit before. There you go. The unit, the nicer unit. Now, this is episode 15, if I'm correct. Yes, this is episode 15, and the unit is about 27 square. Sorry, 27 cubic meters, which is not bad for living. It is bad for filming.
Yeah, because we couldn't both be. It's basically like kind of one room now, and it would be pretty tough to record. But
Yeah,
because jammed into where is he? There he is. He's
yeah.
jammed into the chair.
That is you. You might have thought that Doc was employee number one. No, Doc is actually a contractor that we fired that doesn't seem to have gotten the memo.
Yeah, he just keeps hanging around.
He
Anyway,
just keeps hanging
we're gonna
around.
we're gonna
It's
have
fine.
to call somebody to have him removed.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what is happening. This parking lot of other guests that are staying at this Airbnb is usually has nobody in it. Right now, it's a hotbed of activity. Every single car next to me is either loading or unloading at this moment. Hopefully, no interruptions are going to happen here. Anyways, all that to
Oh,
be said, why don't we share the agenda?
yeah, okay. And
Trey's
I
back into producer mode. I got my laptop from Berlin because we survived for like 12 hours without my laptop. So I have my laptop here, but because Trey chose not to go into the car position, but instead be in the apartment position, this is this has required me to again uh, depend on Trey's production skills. He's doing a great job. So you can see today we have a checking question from me, and then we're going to talk about date times. They're back. Last time we think we saw date time might have been episode 1 or 2. You'll see that in the upper
circled
right
a
hand
while
corner
back.
once we figure out what episode that was. And then we just want to give a little bit of thanks to ourselves and to you, the gentle viewer, all 10 of you or so that all 10 views. I don't know if there's 10 viewers or not, but we appreciate you.
We just have that one viewer that watched it like 8 times.
Yeah. And it's not me, not necessarily me. All right, let's stop sharing the screen so I can get into the question. So we've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently, and one of the podcasts was a what I'm going to call a mini series, which is called conversation. Oh shoot, was it called Midnight Conversations, something like that?
Eavesdropping at midnight. It was
Eavesdropping at midnight. A
yeah,
great
Austin
name.
Austin Kopic's two episode
2 episodes,
podcast experiment.
which we call it a podcast miniseries. All very good. So we did a podcast miniseries in 2019. One of the episodes was with the lovely and effervescent T. Susan Chang, where they're
Yes.
talking about how kind of where astrology and tarot meet, where they don't meet, and kind of discussing the oracular nature of both practices. Anyways, one of the things they talked about was the question that is usually brought up in consultation, whether that is a consultation of astrology or tarot. Usually they were talking about the quality of questions, the specificity of questions. And I'm going to quote Austin. And instead of using Game of Thrones, I'm going to use a show that's more appropriate in my mind. But what Austin said in this episode was, I'll say anything, meaning question, any question that's actually important to you is a good question. The point is not whether it sounds like a cool question or a meaningful question, but rather if it's rooted deeply in your concerns. And what he said was, one of the questions you might want to ask is like, will I have a satisfying experience watching the next episode of RuPaul's Drag Race? And while that might not necessarily be a like big question, essentially it doesn't have to be as long as it's rooted in your concerns, it is a reasonable question. And so
Yeah, you'll find
Trey
an answer for it with the divination technique if it's a real question.
It doesn't have to sound like a big question. It doesn't sound like a mean question. Like you're not there to impress somebody else. You're just there to ask a question that is deeply rooted in your concerns. So the question for you, Trey, what is a seemingly innocuous question about 2024 you have that may not sound neither meaningful nor cool to others, but is deeply rooted in your concerns?
Okay. So the first thing that comes to mind, because we've been since we've been here sort of on our New Year's Eve trip to get out of Berlin to avoid all of the fireworks, I've been and I think both of us have been really enjoying ourselves and doing pastimes that we really enjoy. And one of my pastimes is I'm deeply obsessed with a video game called No Man's Sky. And so I've been playing this quite a bit. And
I think at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to link to Sukey's channel, who plays No Man's Sky. You'll see Sukey's channel up here. Sukey is Trey's favorite person who plays No Man's Sky. She's wonderful. Do you want to talk a little bit about Sukey and why she's amazing?
Yeah, she's just great. She plays a bunch of different games actually, and No Man's Sky is one of them. That's how I found her on Twitch as a No Man's Sky streamer. And yeah, she's just great. She's fun to watch. She's just great. We'll definitely link to her in the show notes.
Her channel.
And and I'll let her know in her Discord too that like, hey, we gave you a shout out on our for all of our 10 viewers.
Our 10 views. We have no idea how many viewers we have.
Yeah, it's a good point. Anyway, okay, bringing that all back though, No Man's Sky is my current obsession, and it's been for a little bit now. And I just this over the last couple of months, the company that makes No Man's Sky, Hello Games, has announced their new title, which looks really cool. And I'll be excited about it 7 years after it ships. That's a joke about No Man's Sky. Anybody who's interested, maybe we can link to like the Wikipedia article on No Man's Sky because of its redemption arc. It's amazing. Anyway,
I think the viewer understood that's a joke because I did hear a rim shot that was put that was in there exactly.
Oh yeah, you put it in post. So anyway, so my question that is deeply rooted in my concerns, and is probably laughably stupid to anybody else, is will they still really keep pouring their heart and soul into this game that is so incredible, No Man's Sky, now that they have this new title that's coming out? Will it still be, will No Man's Sky still receive the love that it should have, that it deserves as a platform
that it deserves
until the end of time, as far as I'm concerned?
This question is apropos not because we are going to be distracted anytime soon, but there's going to be a time when after we ship Cosmic Astrology and we feel good about like what the community has given us as feedback, and we're kind of acting on that feedback, we will move our attention and focus, our primary attention and focus, to something else, to another part of a divination or a oracular methodology experience, I'll say. And I wonder if some people will ask the same questions about us. They're like, oh, the cosmic guys, they seem to be done with astrology. I guess astrology is over. It's going to be like Urania, where after
that will never be the case.
He only fixed a couple bugs and he got to 1.0.4. He couldn't build it anymore, and that was it. And
don't tell them the secret. Nobody's supposed to know that I can't actually build Urania because
no one knows. I'm sorry, no one knows that you can't actually build Urania, and that's why you're not fixing bugs on it. But we're making Urania too. That's the thing, right? And like quite an upgrade, might I say?
You can ask and then answer.
I can assert and answer the question.
Are we making Urania 2 TOO? Urania also?
Urania also. Bennigan's as well. Chili's. Chili's. It's Chili's 2. Yeah, Ben, and then we the big joke was that when we ate the Bennigan's at the airport in Pittsburgh, it was next to a Chili's too, and like, why is it called Bennigan's? It should be called Bennigan's, comma, as well. You might have heard the rim shot again,
Yeah.
right there.
Was that the rim shot I heard?
Did you hear the rim shot? It was there.
Yeah. Anyway.
So for me, the question that I said was, what is a seemingly innocuous question about 2024 you have that may not sound meaningful or cool to others, but is rooted deeply in your concerns? Well, this is the reason that I'm asking this check-in question, is because we've already done this. And I cast my first geomantic chart, and Trey was so kind to interpret it. I don't have the exact question, but it went something like this. In 2024, will I get back my lustrous, beautiful, and full head of hair that I had when on my 35th birthday? And I have a picture. The reason that my 35th birthday is so like ingrained in my mind is there's a picture of me with the coolest haircut and the like most amazing hair ever. And I will say that like between like there's like 3 people that have noticed, like me, Trey, or 4. Me, Trey, my best friend Dan, and our hairstylist has noticed that like my widow's peaks are getting a little too peaky right now, and I've been getting upset because I feel like my source of power, number 1 is my mouth, and number 2 is my hair, and I can't lose my second source of power. Oh, and like the balloons have
number 2.
the balloons have come up
it.
for number 2. You must have turned something off. Who knows?
Yeah, probably.
And so this is where you cut into me showing the geometric charts and like how I cast the lots and connect all the lines, and ended up getting all of the figures, the geometric figures all laid out, and the math, all that very hard geometric math that happened. And as it turns out, the judge, the right witness, the left witness, the querent, I can't remember what you call it, the sentence, but you have a different word for it. Do you remember?
Yeah, that's the reconciler is the kind of traditional term for it. It's summing the judge and the first mother, which is the representation of the querent.
Yeah. Anyways, all of that came to an answer that is very satisfying to my Saturnian brain, which is your hard work is going to pay off in a way that you expect. Fantastic. It doesn't even have to be a jackpot, honestly. It's like hard work go in, good things come out. That's what the completely meaningless to the universe question is, but deeply rooted and meaningful for me.
I think specifically in this case, it was really about the when the question is concerning not changing something, so like in not losing hair. So this is kind of like stopping hair loss is a form of maintaining the status quo, right? The status quo being a full head of hair. Populace as a sort of very stationary kind of figure as a judge of a chart, when you're asking a question like this, is actually relatively favorable. Populace is not necessarily a favorable figure. It's sort of considered to be good with good and bad with bad. So it's kind of contextual, sort of whether or not it's beneficial or a positive answer to the question. But in this particular case, it is a positive question or a positive answer. That's kind of like, yeah, it's going to, if your expectation is it's going to maintain the status quo of hair, then right on. The chart also perfected through translation. And do you want to talk about the agent of translation in this case? Do you want to get that on the podcast?
I don't exactly know what you're talking about.
Why would you expect have the expectation that you might have a better head of hair at the end of 20?
Well, this goes to another. So I was listening to another podcast. I've had it on the back of my mind like that I need to do something about my hair, and I only put 3 things to do on my to-do list, and so the hair did not make it, and so it kind of fell to the wayside. However, I was listening to a podcast, Susie Orman's Women and Money podcast, amazing podcast.
Also fantastic.
I can't link to it because it is a podcast, but you should look it up. It's a absolutely fantastic podcast. Trey's not a big kind of financial planning guru, but he still loves a podcast too because
Yeah.
Susie Orman's amazing, KT's amazing.
Yeah,
They're just amazing people.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that came up in our rapid fire Q&A round was, what are some stocks that are priced under $10 a share that you would be excited about? And one of the ones that she came up with was called HIMS, HIMS. And I was like, okay, if she gives a stock tip, I will listen to that stock tip. I looked up what HIMS does. HIMS is a kind of vitamin and supplement provider, like a service provider in the United States that will provide for weight loss pills or maintenance medication if you've got prescription, or vitamins or minerals or hair loss treatments. And I was like, I'll do their hair loss quiz. And then I did their hair loss quiz. And then it said, like, okay, if you live in the United States for this amount of money, you can get this special formulation of this thing with minoxidil that's going to prevent hair loss and start growing hair. And I was like, oh, what a shame. I don't live in the United States. It would be ridiculous for me to pay this much money for these things to be shipped to someplace in the United States and shipped to me. And I was like, wait a second. I live in Germany. I bet you that I can get these things here and that they're going to be much cheaper. The answer is yes, you can get them here. And yes, they are much cheaper here. And so I was like, fine, I will order my minoxidil, waiting till like it's going to come in several weeks. And like it literally came in like 2 days, which is crazy for German shipping. That never happens.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'll take it up here. And then now I'm on a hair journey. That's how this is all going down.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Good check-in question.
Yeah. Perfection through. I definitely turned something off.
You turn something off. Trey's like this. Trey's the type of person that will just turn things off because he's angry about them, and then later he just won't understand why.
Yeah, why isn't this working?
Wait.
It's like you turned off Siri, so you can't use Maps.
Oh, we don't even want to talk
Apple.
about that. We do not want to talk about that. Yeah, no thanks, no gratitude to Apple today for their weird connection of Siri to like normal like searching. It's just very strange, the choices that they made.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Enough about us. Let's talk about us plus the product. So date time is back. Quick. Oh, yeah. Did you have something to say?
No. I was just.
I was going to say date time is back. Quick demo. Take it away, Mr. Henry. And General Fox. Thank you.
My co-pilot. Okay, can you see that? Or at least
look at that chart. I can't see that.
Okay, cool. You'll notice that there is we're still just rendering the house cusps.
Yeah, no figures, no nothing.
It's the most basic of charts.
We have a date and time, and it looks like a time zone in the middle of this chart once again. And again, I think we haven't seen this since probably episode 2, if I remember correctly. But you will check in the corner there to see.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when the last time that we had that was, but yeah, it's been a little bit. And so yeah, so we have date time. We talked about this a little bit in the past, but I wanted to reiterate and kind of show something sort of cool that you brought up actually about time zone changes. But because yeah, date and time it's a really complicated topic, as we've said before. So I'll show something kind of cool there. But before we get into that, just wanted to show that I'm going to use the hotkeys for moving through time. So this would be 1 through 5 on the keyboard, going from minute up to year. So if I go forward by minute, you can see that the chart is moving, and also the minutes are incrementing here. And then same with hour, and then day. Now we're into 2024, and then month, and then year. And of course, if I hold shift for any of those, then I can go backwards as well. And that's also done before, but now you can actually see that it is moving the date and time. So I'm setting it initially here to the West Coast of the United States time. But if I hit N to go to now, then it's going to set it to my current locale and time. So it is currently 15:27:57 when I hit that button. And now you can see that we're in the Berlin time zone in CET. So before I dig into that a little bit, let me show you this kind of cool thing, which is that if I go, I'm going to go forward months here. And when I get to April there, So I'll go shift forward.
You went from Central European time to Central European summertime, CEST.
Correct. And so this is the thing that I think when people think about time zones, this is one of the things that it's very easy to get wrong and can be quite confusing, which is that when you think, most people, when they think charts, and this is mostly probably what we will show in this detail view, which who knows where it's going to end up. This is all in flux, as everybody knows. But most software will show you the time zone as this either CET, CEST for Central European time or Central European Standard Time, or PDT or PST for daylight saving time on the Pacific Coast, et cetera, right? So there's abbreviations for the time zones that includes whether or not there's some sort of like daylight saving being accounted for. The fact that they're able to do that is a combination of the actual time zone, which the time zone itself is what's represented by this Europe Berlin label. This is an IANA standardized labeling system, which basically says we're in the Europe Berlin time zone, regardless of what time of the year it is. I can always say we're in Europe/Berlin for a time zone, and that plus the actual time will then tell you what that abbreviation should be, whether it should be CET or CEST. And Jake pointed out a funny thing back in the day, which was, and we ended up having this kind of like interesting conversation about it, which is what happens when you cross this boundary? We actually have an open ticket for this as well. And the funny thing is, so let me go here on the 30th. Oh, shoot. Wrong button. I went the wrong direction. Sorry. Let's go here.
Wait, sorry. You thought that a lower number was going to affect.
I went higher thinking lower. That was me. That's not an expectation.
Okay, great. I just wondered if there was a design flaw. Okay, all good.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. So look here at what happens to the hour. So I'm going to go forward an hour from 1:27 a.m. On the 31st of March in our time zone here. And what you'll notice is I went ahead 1 hour, and now we're at 3 a.m. And so then the question is, what happens? Is there a 2:27 a.m. on March 31st, 2024?
The answer is no.
And the answer is no, there isn't. That hour is gone from you. They stole it. But
they give it back.
People stole that from you.
They give it back to you later, and that's the one that's really going to twist my
that's
noodle.
The one that's the one that's really fun. We could actually go up there and just show it if you want me.
It must be September something.
Right. Oh wait, I passed it. Sorry. It's there.
So go.
Oh
no, you keep
it again.
You are messing these up in a way that makes me think that it's not intuitive. Our keys.
No, don't ever listen to me on these topics. Oh wait, did I go too far?
No, yeah, summer site. Yeah. You have to go out of summer.
Oh, okay. So I went the wrong direction here. So it would be. Oh, it's probably right at the end. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in October probably. That sounds right.
Oh, there it is.
Doing it live. Okay.
Doing it live. Okay, so there's that.
So now go ahead by. Okay, so there's.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. That's the correct answer. You fixed the bug, by the way.
No, it's just the way that the calculation works out.
No, just take the compliment next time. Just say, yes, I fixed the bug.
Oh yeah, I fixed the bug. We can close that one out now. Yeah, so if for those who aren't like, so I'm pressing right. I'm going forward and backward an hour, and the hour is not actually changing because you're replaying that same hour.
And this is the thing. I was always worried from a design perspective how weird this was going to be, that you went forward an hour and it went from 2:27 a.m. to 2:27 a.m. But now that tray is showing the time zone, as long as something's changing, that's the correct answer. And so we're gonna So now when we show a date time, we have to show time zone. We have to.
Yeah. So the time zone code is definitely going to be there. That's the most important thing, and almost all software has that. I will take a little bit of credit here though, because my goal with with date selection and date picking in software, like particularly for astrology software, has always been. And this is what I pioneered, I guess I could say, in Urania, which is if you're only ever allowed to say, I want to go up in this increment or I want to go down in this increment, and you're not allowed to pick a date from something like a calendar, for example, then it's impossible to pick an invalid date because you're always just saying increment forward, increment backwards by this amount. And then that will always be a valid date because the thing about time is that it is always moving. However we want to calculate it, whatever, like whatever number you want to show, but time is still time, right? And so that ability to just say like up and down. And so the last thing that I want to show here is I'll go back to now. The last thing that I want to show here is I did want to add a little bit of interactivity. So for those who know Urania, there are arrows above and below each segment so that you can click on the arrow and go up, or you can click on the arrow and go down. They're fairly large and kind of take up extra space, and they overlay other things in a weird way. I don't fully like it. And we've kind of gone back and forth on this a little bit, but then I had just this rando idea and I was like, oh, I'll just throw this in and then see what Jake thinks. Jake has not seen this.
I've not seen this.
This is brand new to everybody.
That's why I moved forward to the screen, because I'm really going to stare at what you're about to do.
Yeah. So what I thought was, well, like if you just click on the number, then that should go forward, right?
Agreed.
Like that seems like a no-brainer.
As long as you can't click on the tens spot and make it go up tens.
No, it's just both. It's like
Thank God. I'll tell you,
segment.
because Urania has this thing where you can click the tens and it's
fidgety.
Wacky. When you do it, you're like, I am so lost when I do that.
Yeah, no, it's fidgety. So no, it's just like minutes, hours. You'll notice actually that it's the exact same thing as our hotkeys, which comes to my next point, which is that I was like,
wait, I have a guess. Can I guess?
Go for it.
You either are going to say you hold shift and then click, or you right click. I hope you said shift then click.
I'm holding the shift key and clicking.
Yay! You did the right thing. You're such a good designer, by the way.
Good unintentional designer. Yeah, so it works the same way as the hotkeys, basically. So it's just, instead of using the number, you just click on it and then hold shift to go the other direction.
That's great. And the thing I love about that, even though it's not highly discoverable around using shift in order to go backwards in time, it's consistent across the hotkey and the click event. It's the correct answer. You always want to make sure that you're having consistency in these things, because anything to allow for a teachable moment or to reinforce a thing that you're doing in different contexts will always benefit members.
Yeah, exactly. I think I just realized, by the way, why I was going the wrong direction on the hotkeys, because I think my brain was trying to map the physical location of the numbers on the screen with the.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking that you said 1 is 2024, 10 is, sorry, yeah, 1 is 2024, 2 is 10, 3 is 24. Like you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm actually now wondering if that is actually the right answer, where you do position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think it might be.
Or maybe it's something you can set in the perspective.
No. That I love lots of things to set in perspectives. That right there is us punting a question and being like, we don't know the answer, so you figure it out. No, I refuse.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, if I had not been playing No Man's Sky, my favorite game, I would have put in some little animation of hover state so that you would have a little bit more of an indication that this is an interactive element.
Nope. I mean, maybe one day, but like, I think this is great, because the idea is like, if you want to manipulate time and you click on it and you realize that when you click on it, that something happens, you'll start learning really quick, I think.
Yeah. The one thing that doesn't work right now, because of the way that I implemented this, which I'm going to change, is that you can't click and hold. It's actually on down. It's a click event, which only fires on mouse up, basically.
Yeah.
So I have to implement it in a slightly different way, but basically, yeah. So you'll be able to hold as well to do the same thing as holding down one of the hotkeys.
Nice. This is again like our software development process, where we will spend 80% of our time prototyping and getting a feel for something, and then 20% of the time productionalizing it, and not do it the opposite way. And every company I've ever worked at has always done it the opposite way. If you even give 20% to prototyping, you certainly give the vast majority of the time or all of the time to productionalizing things. And what ends up happening is you have all of this hand wringing that happens where people are like, well, I don't know if it's going to work and I don't know how it's going to feel. And I don't know. And I'm like, why don't you just prototype first? And like, the idea here is if you're going to make experiences that people love, you're going to have to only do that through feeling. That feeling is Trey's feeling, my feeling, and also our members' feelings, right? And so going to members and being like, here's a prototype. It's really rough. Can you just use this for a little bit and just see intuitively if you can change time? Would you know, what would you guess on how you would do this kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah,
It just,
exactly. Doing
it
research.
works. Yeah. That's 80% of your time. That shouldn't be the 20%. That's the 80%.
Yeah.
The only last thing that was on our agenda was thanks. And one of the things that I am allergic to are things where they feel very, the word I had is selfish. I don't know. It's like not selfish, but like, I don't know, self-centered. I can't figure out the word, but like when people say like, here's what I care about in 2023, here's what I care about in 2024 about myself. And like instead of it talking about ourselves, I'm more interested in talking about like what we're building together, number one, in Cosmic, and two, like so what we're excited about in 2024, what we're building together, and what we're excited about in service of, you know, building this out, what we are going to hopefully see, what we want to manifest, I guess, in 2024. And so if you don't mind, I'll just start because like I was very vague with the question. So I'm very excited to be moving on from my current career into full-time in this, which is exciting. Yes. I'm more excited than scared, and that's a good sign. I am scared though, but like you should always be a little bit scared. And I'm just trying to get it out of my head and get it into my mouth, because things that are in here, like what did you say here? Like we only, you know, if we're doing Kopfkino, we're only playing horror films inside our heads.
For some reason, yeah, we have these amazing like movie making machines inside of our heads, but then we're all watching horror movies, which was actually from it was from like some yeah, I can't remember it.
We can't cite it.
I can't cite it, but it was from somebody else. It's a great one.
Big gratitude to them. And I'm very excited that sometime in 2024 we will have something available for people to use, and we can get feedback from them. And my favorite part of the process of software development is when you put something into people's hands and it allows them to express themselves in ways that they have never been able to express themselves before. And you set a new bar, you set a new standard. I'm very excited to set a new bar and standard for what astrology software and astrology tooling can help with the divination, the interpretation, and the oracular process. And I'm excited to see what our modern day oracles can do with our tools that we're about to give them.
Yeah, that's incredibly well said. And I think I have less of an aversion to the selfish angle, and I will say that
really?
Like, still I am very excited about having it for myself. I have astrology as part of my actual practice, and I love, you know, like I use Urania. That's part of why I created it, and I am very excited for us to get to the point where we can actually use it ourselves and really start to kick the tires on this thing. And
I will say,
so excited that you will be able to be full-time now on
yes,
and fully committed to Cosmic. That's great.
So I will say that I am now going through Demetra George's Ancient Astrology in Theory and Practice, and going through all the exercises myself, because it's good to learn this stuff and learn how, you know, all the mechanics work. And if you're going to make the clock, and you know, like you should understand how the clock works. It's very important. You don't need to understand all of the parts of the clock in order to design it, but you should understand kind of how it fits together. And I will say that when using Urania, so my primary tool that I use is Urania in order to do the exercises in the book for my chart. And there are times where I get very frustrated with Urania, and I'm like, why doesn't it do this? Why doesn't it do that? Where is this? Where is that? Why is this like that? And then sometimes it will be missing things so much that I have to go to astro.com, and God help me, like if I can't figure out like how do I cast a chart here? How do I add a like how do I change my house system? Like all these things. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, Urania 2.0, otherwise known as cosmic plumbing, astrology needs to be, we need to do it. And I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
I feel pressure, if not just because of very selfish, again, like I have an aversion to selfish thing, but I have a selfish need to just do Demetra George's book, An
Demetra.
Irrational Tool. Oh, Demetra. I said Davina, and I was like, I knew that's wrong, but I'm just gonna keep going with it. I was like, we'll catch it in post. We'll catch it in post. And I was just gonna, here, I'll make sure I'll say Demetra. There, I did 3 of them, and then I'll cut the sound in later.
You could do the thing where you like just do the mouth in. Demetra. Oh whoa, I got hearts. What?
The hearts came out of
Amazing.
your
That was a surprise. I honestly thought that had been shut off.
That was so shocking because you tried all day to make it work. And then when you're just oh my God. Okay. Well,
I think that's a good side. When we're talking about our slide into 2024, I mean, what could be a better omen?
Yeah. In German, you say guten Rutsch, right? So you say good slide, because at the end of the year, sometimes it's weird in German culture. There's this idea that after Christmas and until New Year, it's basically a blank period. They're like, nah, nothing. It's just like nothing's open. You're not working. It's just all very blank. And Trey makes this great observation about like the kind of remainders of the universe that are just kind of sitting around, right? And so like every so often we have to do, every 4 years we have to tack on an extra day, but every 100 years we have to subtract that day, and unless it's 25 years we have to add that day, and back and forth. And like I love the remainders part of the universe. Nothing is clean, nothing is precise. And so what I will say to you all is have a happy blank time. Guten Rutsch. Good slide into 2024. Happy New Year, however you would like to say that. Be well. God bless you. And I have to get out of this car because I think I'm going to get carbon monoxide poison from as much laughing as I've done right now. Crazy.
We love you. Bye.
We love you. Bye.